Barstool Pick'em College Bowl Extravaganza. You are now in the Bowl Pick'em zone. Are we ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I believe I'm already 1-0 in Mortal Locks. You're 0-1.
We had a Mortal Lock off. I was wrong. You were right. That one was good.
I'm 2-1 now in Mortal Lock offs. What was your NFL Mortal Lock off?
Steelers. What?
No. What'd you have as your Mortal Lock last?
When I took the Chargers.
So you lost that too?
Yeah.
I've actually been like murdering everything I touch for those paying attention at home.
So here's my question. Bowl season, what do you have any tricks for bowl season? Do you have any tips for bowl season? Because I know I generally approach it a little bit differently than the regular season.
No, the bowl season I don't have tricks. I don't think there is a trick. You and your buddy Furman probably think there are tricks and cheat codes and that type of thing. I don't think that. It boils down to who is trying and who is not. If you can at least know both teams are trying, it gives you a fighting chance. But that's bowl season. You're going to get teams that don't try, and they fuck you in the ass. So
we're on the same page as that. That was kind of what I was getting at. The motivation of teams is like everything in bowl season. And how teams, whether they have a coach they're playing for, whether they have a disappointing season, that's everything in my book. And that's the only way to approach bowl season. You have to find the teams that don't give a fuck and bet against them.
Agreed. But that's the rub.
And that's the rub.
That's the rub. Yep.
All right. Let's. We're gonna hop around. We'll just pick out some games that are at least somewhat compelling.
I have a 14-game card. I'll give them all. I'm red hot. Ride me. The current plan is not to bet. I'll tell you if I change and actually bet, then you probably shouldn't bet. But if I'm not betting, you should definitely bet these.
All right. On December 26th, I don't see many good games. I would say, just looking at this quickly, that Rutgers, North Carolina over, I'd probably take that. Is that on your card?
It is. The over is circled and on that card.
Okay. All right.
So that's one. That's one.
That's one. The Saturday, December 27th, actually has a couple of good, compelling games. Let's start with Miami and South Carolina.
Yeah, that's not on my card. So obviously, any game that's not on my card, I don't have a huge opinion on it. Those are two teams I don't know who's trying. They're both 6-6. This is a coin flip for me. So whenever I'm going coin flips, I'm going to take the points.
I would agree with that. I actually take the points more often than not in bowl season just because I feel like the Vegas doesn't really know what's going on with bowl season. And these teams, they don't have any familiarity. They just kind of get thrown into this. Miami and South Carolina both had pretty disappointing years. Give me the 3.5. That's kind of a no-brainer. I'll tell you one game that I love.
Where is this game? Independence. Is that Shreveport?
Yeah, Shreveport.
Yeah. I picture Miami now in turtlenecks, though, like underneath their uniform.
And it's only like 45.
Yeah, I'm on South Carolina now.
USC and Nebraska is a game I love. I love USC because Nebraska just lost their coach, and that was a coach the players loved. They played for Bo Pelini. When you gauge their reaction to losing Bo Pelini, they were heartbroken. If they go down, just even like if this game starts and they go 3-0, or if the game starts and USC scores, it's over.
They didn't love them when they lost 60-0.
But the players loved them.
They quit. Players had to quit to lose 60-0.
That's Melvin Gordon will make any man quit.
Yeah, he didn't make Ohio State quit.
That was the conspiracy, but okay.
Who is the coach for Nebraska this game?
I don't know.
That's an X factor that I'd like to know before saying anything. I did not have this game on the card because if it's somebody from his staff, they may play for that guy. There's got to be somebody, right?
Yeah, it probably is. Hold on. Keep talking. I'll find out who it is. I think it's Riley. Is Riley coming in right away?
No, that they've never done that. That can't be Riley. If it is, I'm on USC because he's the stupidest guy on the earth. I don't know how he got that job. He's an idiot.
Yeah, you hate him.
I hate him, but it can't be him.
Okay, I can't find who's coaching.
So that's why this game's not even on my board because I don't know who's coaching this team.
Either way, I'm telling you, USC is going to win this game by 21 points.
I just think USC stinks. So
Barney Cotton.
Who's that?
I don't know, but does that give you any confidence?
That's a terrible name. Barney Cotton?
Awful name. Barney Cotton is, I mean, if you want to bet on a Barney Cotton coach team, be my fucking guest. But yikes, dude. He's gone. He's gone after this year.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. Prior to becoming interim coach, he had served under Pelini as associate head coach and offensive line coach. Those fat linemen are going to play their dicks off for him. I'd be careful.
Okay, but he's also leaving as well. He's not staying.
I know,
he's going to UNLV. So
I know, but they're going to put him on their shoulders and give him the Gatorade bath and fuck you. I'd be careful. Barney Cotton, he's just dumb enough to be sneaking around that chicken coop.
He's just dumb enough to go to back himself into a bowl victory.
Yeah, he is. I don't like that game.
All right. Moving on that day, do you like BC, Penn State, Arizona State, Duke, or Cincinnati, Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I like BC against Penn State. I think BC is just better.
I do too. I think Penn State stinks. That also is a weird game. I feel like here's a rule that makes no sense, and I'm sure people will say this is the dumbest thing you ever said. But if you're playing at a baseball stadium, weird shit's gonna happen. Like, that's just a weird bowl. Like
the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah, in Memphis, BYU yesterday was played at the Marlins Stadium. Just weird shit happens when they throw out the football field on a baseball stadium. I
don't disagree with that, especially when they do it in like Wrigley and you can only play like one side.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Monday, December 29th actually has a couple good games. The Texas A&M Westphal game is going to be what should be a shootout. 67 is the over-under. That seems a little low.
No, because A&M stinks. A&M's offense is like the most overrated thing in the world. They stink. I like West Virginia in this game. I like the little interplay going on with the West Virginia head coach and the old assistant who they're like friends. Did you read that? And the assistant coach called up and said, "I know all your signals," and just hung up. Like, I think that's pretty funny. He also, Dana Holmgren, is that his name?
Dana Holgerson. He's a stoolie.
I know. He used my finishing. He used my Bill Murray, like, "Ooh, I'm scared," in that exchange. Like,
yeah.
He swagger jacked my whole thing. I don't like this game, but if I had to go, I'd go West Virginia because I think A&M's garbage.
I'd probably lean to West Virginia as well. I'm probably going to be on the over here. Oklahoma and Clemson at 4:30, 5:30 in Orlando. Any lean on that one?
No. I don't know what else I can say. This is a weird one. Oklahoma is not happy to be there. They're the type of team who will lay down in a bowl game. This guy, this Clemson coach, is motivator. I don't know. Clemson's never in a big bowl anymore, but for some reason it always seems like a big bowl game when no other. They are always on. I feel like New Year's Eve, and they're the only game on. In like the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Is this a Chick-fil-A Bowl?
No, this is the Russell Athletic Bowl.
It wouldn't shock me if this like transformed at halftime to the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I don't like this game. I think Clemson tries harder, but Clemson's not very good. I don't like the game at all. That's why I had nothing to say on it.
Arkansas, Texas. I bet you have Arkansas here.
That is on my 15-14 game card. I like Arkansas. I think it will go under as well. It's a low one. It's 45. But I don't bet unders because then terrorism has won. So I am just going to stick with Arkansas.
LSU, Notre Dame. I love LSU in this game. Who do you have a side?
What's the total? I missed this one.
52.
What's the line?
LSU's -7.
I'm going to take Notre Dame here. Notre Dame stinks, but I don't think they're like season fell apart. But I think they're going to rebound and play hard this game because they've been so embarrassed. They needed like a month timeout in their season. I don't think they're as bad as they were. And LSU, I don't think is very good. So I could see this again. And LSU doesn't want to be there. This is a no motivation game for LSU. So I could see it being close, but I'm not going to bet it. But I would take Notre Dame.
All right. Well, my computer froze on me. Let's see. Georgia at Louisville. 2 top 25 teams, December 30th.
I contemplate making this my mortal lock of the season.
Really?
Love Louisville here. Love them.
Wow.
Georgia's overrated. I don't think Georgia's very good. Again, I don't think Georgia will have any motivation to be here. Louisville will. I think Louisville plays really hard. I don't think Georgia can move the ball. I think this is a statement game for Louisville. I think Louisville wins.
And you get 6.5 points. It is also the Belk Bowl, and as we know, the Belk Bowl is where crazy shit happens. That bowl scares me. Will haunt me till the day I die with that Duke game, whatever it was, 3 years ago. Let's keep going. December 31st, New Year's Eve. We actually have some really good games. Mississippi and TCU. This one I'm actually contemplating being my mortal lock with TCU. Would love to hear your thoughts.
I like Mississippi in this game. I have them on my card. I think
Why?
I think Mississippi can beat anybody in the country. I think they're over the malaise of being eliminated from the national title contention. They beat Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. I think they come in this game rolling and want to put an explanation point on for what for them is a pretty good season.
I think that, I see it sort of differently here. I see Mississippi as they put all their eggs in the basket, no pun intended, but intended, in the Egg Bowl, and they won that. They beat their rival. They ruined Mississippi State's season. Now it's kind of like, who really cares? They had a great season. They were, were they one at some point?
Yes.
So they were one at some point. TCU, on the other hand, Gary Patterson, he does not fuck around. I saw his quotes. He was like, we haven't even talked about being snubbed. We're just playing every game, and that's all we care about. And that's the kind of mindset like I want. He wasn't like Baylor with Art Briles, who bitched and moaned and cried and hired a PR company. I don't even think TCU wanted to go to the semifinals. But the way Gary Patterson talks, he's like, nah, fine. He's like, this is a dream come true playing in this bowl.
Yeah, I don't believe him for a second. And more importantly, I think they're a good enough team where Mississippi State wants to beat them. That's where I think the motivation is for Mississippi. They're not viewing them as nobody's going to care if we stomp them. I think if they stomp TCU, it's almost like, SEC football. So I like them.
Here's the only thing you should be concerned about. Mississippi, TCU can stop the run. They're actually pretty stout against the run. So you're betting on Bo Wallace.
I'll take those golden locks any day.
Oh, my God, you're out of your mind. Here's an interesting one. Boise State and Arizona, also New Year's Eve. Arizona's -3.
Almost seems like a rat play to me. Arizona, I love Arizona in this game. Love them. Boise State stinks.
I couldn't disagree more. Boise State is so under the radar, they actually kind of put it together towards the end of the year. I know what you're saying. Like, I've lost money on Boise State. Arizona, to me, is the fraud team in this matchup.
No, I disagree.
Okay, so you're taking
Arizona.
All right. Georgia Tech and Mississippi State. This is a game I also almost mortar locked. I'd love to hear who you like in this one.
I like Georgia Tech.
I do as well. I think this has Mississippi State coming out flat, written all over it after losing in that Egg Bowl, getting their seasons dashed, and who the fuck? Here's where it really comes down to it. When you have lack of motivation, The last offense in the world you want to play is that triple option.
I agree with you. Georgia Tech and the points is on my card.
Yep. If you're Mississippi State, if you're a defensive lineman for Mississippi State, I'm faking an injury 2 plays into the game. Because I don't want to get cut. I don't want to get cut blocked 40 times for a fucking bowl game that means nothing.
I agree.
All right, let's move to New Year's Day. Auburn at Wisconsin. I'm sure you have Auburn. It's probably the right side.
No, I don't like this game at all. I think Wisconsin again. Who's the coach?
Right. I think Barry might be coaching, actually.
Well, then you got to love Wisconsin.
Barry's a game changer. I actually like the over in this game a lot.
Is Barry coaching?
He is, yeah.
Oh, then this is almost the mortal lock. Wisconsin.
They lost the Rose Bowl when he coached a couple years ago, but that was also to a very good Stanford team.
Yeah. No, this is rally the troops. Barry Alvarez is here. Yeah, I like Wisconsin.
Speaking of which, did you hear the story that Gary Anderson, his son's on the team? He didn't even tell his son. He told his son, like, in the meeting when he announced to the players he was leaving.
No, I didn't hear that.
That's a psycho move. All right, I like the over in that game. That actually is in the running for my mortal lock. Michigan State, Baylor. Baylor's minus 2.5.
I like Michigan State. Too physical for Baylor. And like you said, all this whining for Baylor and complaining, and that seeps through. They feel like they got screwed. Those teams generally don't prove points. They get points proved on them. So I'd like Michigan State.
Couldn't agree more with that. Baylor is the type of team in this situation, when your coach whines like that, they're going to show up and literally try to whine their way to a victory. Like, they're going to be whining to the refs and crying about penalties, and Michigan State's going to come and just shove it down their throat. Because Michigan State hasn't been in it since they got their ass kicked by Ohio State.
And the Big Ten constantly has a chip on their shoulder. So,
which, I mean, it still doesn't really mean anything because they can't win. But yeah. Talk about a fucking awful game on New Year's Day. Missouri and Minnesota.
Let me say something. Well, I've been waiting to bring this point up. It's the number one point. We should have probably led the telecast with it. How are there games after the playoff games? Those have to be the last 2 games of all the bowl games. These games that are happening after. What do you mean, no?
You're wrong.
No, I'm not. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
No, you are.
No, the last game of the year is the national championship. That's how it should be.
No. Yes, obviously the last game of the national championship, but the playoff game, all the games that don't matter should be before those 2 games.
Here's why you're wrong.
Here's why you're wrong.
The schedule works out this year with January 1st on a Thursday. Why not give the world what they want? They want football on that Friday.
No, because you load up. You have more. If you may be too young. All these games, there used to be like 5, 6, 8 games, like
on New Year's.
Not only New Year's, like leading up to it. Give me more games give me something to chew on. Give me some meat. Make this lead up to New Year's, and then have New Year's so my eyeballs are falling out. Like I turn on the Disney Channel and there's a bowl game. That's America. And then after it, you have the championship for a week to build to. Don't give me fucking these crap games after.
See, here's why I disagree. New Year's Day is on a Thursday. Friday, you're like, fuck. It's winter. It sucks. There's no NFL. There's no college basketball. Give me bowls. It's a special case. Next year when New Year's Day is on a Friday, it won't be like this. But there's an extra day. It's like finding a $5 bill in your pocket. Those 4 games on January 2nd are the $5 bill you pull out of your pocket after your jeans.
Well, then here's where you fucked up again. Then those 2 games should be on Friday.
Which 2?
The playoffs.
No, because they always have to be on New Year's. That's the precedent that's getting set.
I don't care. Don't set precedents. Those games have to end it. Period.
The national championship does.
No, but you know what I mean. You end the bowl season with those 2 games. I don't want Arkansas against fucking Hammerhead University on the 4th of January. That's garbage.
Hammerhead University. All right, So let's just talk about the only good game on that January 2nd. Kansas State and UCLA. That's actually a pretty good game.
But that's a disgusting game. No one cares about that game
After
those other things. I don't like that game. How can somebody get pumped up for that game if you're on those teams when the bowl season is basically over? All anyone's talking about is those 2 games that happened last night. You come out of the tunnel, no one gives a fuck.
So who do you like in that game?
Kansas State.
You know what game is just terrible? That Houston-Pittsburgh game at noon on that Friday.
It's disgusting.
That's going to be – take the under in that game. Even though both teams might be able to score, because they're just like – they're going to be so fucking pathetic and just gross, and it's going to be dreary and awful. Probably really windy. I don't have a forecast for Fort Worth, Texas on January 2nd, but I'm guaranteeing there's a shitload of wind in that game. Let's talk about the Final Four. First of all,
there's basketball on January 2nd.
Who do you have winning it all?
There's college basketball on January 2nd. Anyways, who do I have?
What?
What?
Who do you have winning it all? Can I say this? The reason why I think they got this right is I can make a case for all 4 teams winning the national championship.
Yeah, of course they got it right.
Right, but I'm just saying, I don't think there's any team in this Final Four that I would be shocked if they won it all.
Me neither. I have my first ever dual mortal lock. It's the 2 big games. I love both the underdogs. I think both the underdogs could win. I have Ohio State and Florida State both +9 as criminal stealing. Throw me in jail. Lock up the jail. Does that make sense? No. Throw the key away. Forget about it. Those are 2 mortal lock winners. Put it in the bank.
I mean I can't disagree with you. Those 2 games, the fact that those are both above a touchdown is crazy.
Crazy.
I'll tell you, if I had to rank them, though, I like Ohio State more than I like Florida State. Because I do think Florida State is going to get into a situation. If Oregon comes out fast, Florida State's going to get in a situation where they have to pass. And Jameis has thrown a lot of interceptions this year, and he probably will throw a few more. And that game, Oregon always, to me, has the potential to, like Bruce Lee, the whole thing, like Bruce Lee can punch you like 17 times in 1 second.
Yeah.
That's Oregon. They can punch you 17 times in 1 second. Before you know it, it's 28-0, and you haven't even caught your breath.
See, I disagree a little bit. I like if Florida State played Ohio State, I'd pick Florida State. But I think Alabama is better than Oregon, so that means I like Florida State more than Ohio State, period.
I'll also say this. I think the reason why Florida State has been underrated and why this number is 9 is because they're getting penalized for 2003 Florida State, if that makes any sense. If 2013 Florida State never happened, if they didn't win it all, if they didn't go undefeated, and this Florida State team came out and had the exact same record, what would you say? You'd say this team is resilient, this team knows how to win, but they're being compared to the championship team, so instead it's this team is barely squeaking by, this team can't, close out a game. So I think that they're getting punished for what they were last year.
Here is what I got. Florida State versus Alabama in the title game. Florida State defends.
All right, so here's a bet I made. You can tell me if this makes sense. I bet
nobody's stunned. I feel like I just released my picks.
Is that your pick? That's your official pick, Florida State
to win the national championship.
I have the same final, but I have Alabama winning.
That's fair. I mean, you went with a chalk. I certainly wouldn't surprise me if Bama won it. Not like you said. The only teams who I don't think can win this is Oregon. I don't think they're good enough.
I can make a case for Oregon. I really can. I absolutely can. Their offense has been so good, and their offensive line has been so good. But Oregon is a scary team in the fact that there's Oregon that I explained, the Bruce Lee Oregon that will punch you a million times before you even blink. And then there's the Oregon that if one thing goes wrong and then their offense, you know how their offense works, that you can tell right away if Oregon's going to have a good night.
Yeah.
If it's like almost like you put a stick in their spoke, and they're like a little kid, and they fall over their handlebars. If Florida State can put a stick in their spoke, then I know what you're saying. I think that Oregon will have a lot of trouble. I'll say this. Let me ask you this question. I took Alabama minus 110 to win it all, knowing that if they beat Ohio State, they'll be favored again, and then you can bet back whatever team they play against.
There's one potential flaw. They're going to be a very slight favorite against Oregon.
It would be a slight favorite, yes, but then at that point I'd ride Alabama, and I'd just have them as a regular bet, and I wouldn't have to, because they'd probably be like -3.
I don't hate it.
Okay. All right, so should we go to your card?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
Kansas State, we already said, minus 1.5. I like Iowa plus 3.5 against Tennessee.
I hate that.
Okay, I like it. It's on my card. I like East Carolina plus 6.5. My writing is horrific. Whoever's East Carolina is playing, I think doesn't want to be there, and East Carolina is going to empty the house. It looks like a team that starts with the letter H. Who are they playing?
Who you're cutting out? What'd you ask?
Who's East Carolina playing?
Florida.
It was the F was screwed up. I like East Carolina plus 6.5. Who's the coach at Florida? I don't know. I don't care. I said the over in Rutgers. I said Michigan State, Florida State, Ohio State's my dual mortal lock. I said BC, West Virginia. I have them on here. I don't know why. Take that one off. Louisville is my non-BCS playoff game, mortal lock, plus 6.5. Mississippi plus 3. Arkansas minus 6. I like whoever Boise State's playing minus 3. I can't read who that is. We talked Arizona. And I like Georgia Tech 7 against Mississippi State. There you have it. Get rich.
All right, so you have the dual mortal lock.
Yeah.
Hank, do you have a mortal lock?
Yeah, Florida State in the semifinal.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that, Hank.
I also
who was it, Hank?
Florida State in the semifinal.
Yep. I'm going to throw 2 mortal locks your way. I like Georgia Tech plus 7, and I like the over in that Oregon-Florida State game. That game has very little defense as far as I'm concerned. I think Florida State's going to be in a hurry-up, catch-up mode. A lot of junk time TVs.
Do you remember that time we talked about that Wisconsin-Ohio State game, and I said, you gave me all the stats about Ohio State's rush defense, and I said, yeah, but one game you can rise up and know it's coming. Florida State's defense, this is a rise-up game. Watch out for that.
They've gotten gas this year, though.
But do you remember what I just said like 30 seconds before?
But do you remember that Wisconsin was told specifically by the head of the Big Ten that they had to throw the game 59-0 so that Ohio State can make the Final Four?
I'm just telling you, using the same logic that seemed to be a gazillion % correct about Ohio State manning up on defense, I think Florida State, coming a month rest, is ready for this offense. That's what I'm saying.
All right, we'll add this to whatever week of the playoffs. It will be the second week of the playoffs. We'll add the final game to that, so we'll talk about the final game when that comes around. Otherwise, that's the bowl spectacular extravaganza. I'm gonna also post picks just randomly because as we get closer to tip off, that's where I take all my picks.
You didn't even ask how Roman Approval did. My horse.
Oh, how did Roman Approval do? I'm sorry.
He came in last.
I apologize.
He didn't get out of the gate, and he just came
So,
in last.
so how many? So overall, you smoke finished first once, second once, last, and then Roman Approvals last.
Yeah, I'm on a 2 last horse race streak here. It's not as fun. It's not as fun when they come in last.
Yeah, we need to get back in the winner's circle.
Yep.
I'd say.
Yep.
That's a tough one. When is he racing again?
I don't know.
All right. Well, pick it up, Roman Approval. Some of us are relying on you.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not going to bet, you better at least give me an ounce of excitement.
All right.